Hey there, everybody. Hello. How you doing? Hold on. Let me get just kind of bites. All right. So I decided to go ahead and go live. I got maybe about 30 minutes. Yes, this is live. This actually just went live. It literally just started. We're like 20 seconds in right now. so, um, so yeah. So I noticed on that premiere, I was just gonna hurry up and upload something on the way to doing something else, but I noticed during that premiere that there was 89 people in there for that little 10-minute premiere. And I was like, there's 89 people in here. I was like, okay, people want to talk about this. So, hi Amber, hi everybody. So, I decided to go ahead and go live for a little bit, just so that people could go ahead and talk about it a little more. I know it's kind of exciting, right? It's kind of exciting news. But I caution everybody, just throttle back on the excitement a little bit. It may be an interesting development, maybe not. We'll have to see how it goes. And even Kathleen Zellner is cautioning that same thing. So just wait, let things get vetted out, because maybe the guy just was making up a story for attention. I mean, it's possible. We don't want that to be true, right? We want the guy to actually be the guy, and we want justice to be done. But we can't allow our desire for that outcome to blind us. So we got to wait and see what happens here. And we got to see and make sure. I mean, it's like I said, dude, like if the guy is in jail or in prison at the end of October and early November of 2005, well, there you go. He gets ruled out like immediately. Now, somebody else made the point, I believe it was Karen, that most likely there are some things that line up and make sense here. Otherwise, it wouldn't have gotten this far. I think there's probably some amount of sense to that. I believe that may be true. That there may be some things right that they saw by reading it, like kind of just right on the surface, that jumped out where they went, okay, this may be significant. Okay, but still, like I said, it's still just wait up. Don't get too carried away. It's an interesting development. And like you guys, I totally want to see more. I totally want to see this written letter, that this guy wrote. I totally want to see that eventually, hopefully. We'll see if that happens. I mean, most likely it's going to have to be gotten through an FOIA request somewhere in the future. But I desperately do want to take a look at it. Statistically, it probably means nothing, Travis says. But the 5% chance makes it interesting. There you go. From Travis himself. Just bring your cornflakes up to Travis and... No, I'm just kidding. All right. Alright, what's going on up here? You're just watching my vid when I went live? Yeah, I noticed, well, like I was just saying, I noticed by the end of that 10-minute premiere, I had 89 people in there. And I was like, okay, people want to talk about this right now. So I decided to go ahead and go live. I have somewhere to go. But I decided to go ahead and go live for 30 minutes real quick. And who knows, maybe after I'm done in 30 minutes, maybe Linda will go over on her channel and we maybe get Denise and Allie to join her over on her channel. And Glowmam can get together and throw this around a little bit, So Linda says no. Okay, never mind. All right. Of course, we want to talk about it. So I know we want to talk about it. I know. I get it. It's why I'm going ahead and I'm going to be late to what I'm doing, because I know it's important. It's good to see everybody. Yes, it is, Bella. Posting a link to this Reddit on the TikTok sub. Every high-profile murder case usually has at least one nutcase who says he did it. Well, there you go. I am sick. Sorry. Oh, no worries, Linda. I was just... No worries. My belief is... Let's see. My belief is that this guy didn't do it for the reward because he can't get it if he's in prison. If he gets out to claim the reward, he is right back in because he's confessed to a new murder, right? Basically, yes, that logic is sound. Would be funny to see, or would be funny if he said Colburn. Oh, if Colburn had did it. Looking at old files and putting Martinez is back on the table. Yeah? Adrian, was it Adrian? Yeah. Adrian Martinez, I believe it was. Yeah. He's the guy that likes axes. He's a real winner. Hey there, Mark. What's up, buddy? How's it going? I'd be surprised if there is any substance to the so-called confessor. And Mark is perfectly sound in that, opinion. It's why I'm cautioning everybody to throttle back on the excitement, because maybe it could be something, but let's wait a little bit. Let's not go around telling everybody how everything's changed, how it's all, whatever. Just realize that there's something interesting out there brewing, and eventually we'll get some more details on it. And when we can get some more details, hey, even Ken Kratz tweeted. He said, "Don't ask me. This is news to me. I need more details." Well, that's the way I am. That's the way we all are. We need more details. So, for now, it's an interesting development, potentially. But I caution throttle back on the excitement just a little bit. Don't get too carried away. But, yes, it's interesting. In the yogurt shop murders, there were... And that was a capital murder case. Love to know what SA and BD think about it. Yeah. Allie's okay. She was actually over on Denise's channel this weekend. Truth Monster. Or it was Linda's, sorry. She was over on Linda's channel. With Denise. Yeah. Linda and Denise were busy this weekend. So chances are this guy is in for life, because if he confesses the murder, and if they have a chance of being free one day. Yeah, right? Yeah, he most likely is in forever. The way they talk about it, it sounds like he's in for more than just one or two murders. It sounds like he's in, to me, the way they allude to it, it sounds like he's in for multiple murders. Let's see. Why would he be precluded? He could assign it to family. Could he, Travis? Do me a favor, Travis. Consult with consult with Miss Struncy on that. You don't have to get back to us right away. I mean, maybe the next time, next live or something. Who confesses to a documentary maker? Oh, Henbury's got a video uploading soon. He's been posting some interesting ones, folks. One I gotta go watch is the one where they go in to search the cabinet. One of the ones where they search the cabinet. Very, very, very interested in watching that one. Alien invasion, there you go. Yes, that was it. Storming Area 51. Can we get a quick recap of what happened? Any of the released photos stand out to me? Kind of. Okay. Brief recap of what happened. The filmmakers for Convicting a Murderer were at a Wisconsin prison. They were interviewing people, I guess, maybe former prisoners that had spent time doing time with Stephen or something. I don't know. Anyways, they were in the prison, and I guess this inmate came up and handed them a handwritten letter, the film crew, for convicting a murderer. And so they have made copies of it. Zellner has copies of it. The state obviously has copies of it. Everybody has copies of it. And, you know, it's like I said, Zellner tweeted and said, you know, whoa, don't get excited here. It's, you know, I think she was alluding to the fact that it may be a big nothing burger, kind of like Travis is doing right now. Yeah, that's where it's at. It's interesting. It could be potentially big. We'll have to see where it all goes. As far as release photos standing out, kind of, sort of, yeah. In terms of, like, the photos of Steven's trailer. You know, I'm reminded of Mark Wiegert when he says, you know, in court, unprompted, by the way, he says in court, yeah, that's right, they had 5 days to clean up. And he alludes to that 5 days cleanup would have allowed that. You look at all these pictures and you can tell that many of the surfaces in that bedroom hadn't been cleaned in a great long time. And so things like that. The pictures, I love the pictures, the blurry pictures of the VIN photo, of the VIN number. That's priceless. More blurry photos. I mean, of something important, hilarious. Anyway, not so hilarious, but anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I haven't gotten to dive too deeply into them yet. We did notice that the bag that's supposed to be item FK is actually, for some reason, labeled item FL, which is interesting. So, I am sure the confession is true, but the words of which compromise it are not. Do you have a link to Henry's? Here's a twist. If the confession is legit, it probably makes his civil suit case worth 0. I don't see why that would be. I really can't see the logic in that, Travis. And you say that like with such... Yeah, I don't know. That just defies logic, in my opinion. Bedroom was not trashed like we see when Jody went in. Yeah, that's true. My read is based on Casey's comment. How does this inmate pass a note without guards? See, oh, dude. I'm sure you can do anything in prison when you have enough pull. Is there anything he could know that isn't public knowledge already? That would be an interesting thing. That would be one of the reasons why it would be interesting to read the actual note itself, or the letter. I think there's a federal law prohibiting people convicted of crimes from profiting off of it. What is the next step? Do they have to prove the confession is legit? Well, they have to prove that the guy's legitimate. Yeah, they have to prove that. Well, it has to seem plausible that this guy actually did what he's saying he did. Right? If it doesn't seem plausible, this goes right out the window. Boom. Poof. It's just going to leave a vapor trail. You know what I mean? Unless it's legit. If it's legit, it's going to stand in there and it's going to be solid as a rock. So we'll see. We'll see. That would be the motivation for the state to offer an inmate a reduced sentence to confess, wouldn't it? That's a fair point, Vanessa. Oh, and okay, interesting thing here, folks. I don't know if you got this. Travis's evaluation is based on having a third person who actually did the planting and the framing. Okay? So, the big question is that's certainly one scenario or one possibility, but what if it's this guy committed the crime and it was still a handful of corrupt law enforcement officers who moved the crime scene to where it needed to be for them to convict Stephen Avery? What then, Trav? If his confession is legit, it proves Ellie knowingly was framing an innocent man. Who are the first two, Travis? How long does it take? Another 10 years? Magic bullet. Yeah, why didn't they find it? Yeah, why didn't they find it? Yeah, exactly. When they cleaned everything. Exactly. Well, he can't really enjoy the money in jail. Yeah. Maybe he didn't set Stephen up and got lucky. They'd zero in on Stephen. Lots of canteen money. Okay, so John Romano says, right, the cops frame him. Okay, once again, I want to take this opportunity to let everybody know, I personally don't think every single cop involved in this was involved in this. I think there were a whole bunch of cops who were involved in this that weren't actually part of any wrongdoing. They were just reacting to what they found on scene or whatever, and then just moved forward in that sense, and were, in the most part, completely innocent. Now, there may have been some questions in their minds at some point, but, you know, for good or bad, you know, law enforcement officers back each other up and kind of, you know, have each other's back, and so they probably sat on those questions. But for the most part, I think most of the officers involved in this were essentially guiltless, or, well, they didn't have a part in planting and any of that. They just went along with what they were finding. So I just wanted to make that clear to people, because I don't think every single law enforcement officer in this investigation was involved in the actual planting and framing. I believe it's a very select number of them that are actually doing that. How did her car get on Stephen's property? Well, that's one of the questions we have, John. We know that it ended up there with a battery that comes out of a car that, well, let me put it this way. The warranty on it traced back to a car in the Manitowoc County fleet. Not I don't know which fleet, could have been public maintenance or something, but it traced back, the battery traced back to a vehicle that is used by the city of Manitowoc. So answer me this. How did Stephen get that battery to put into the RAV4? For me, that's the better question. But whether it was 1 or 20, the county still has to answer for it. It is up in the air if this helps SA. If his is the unknown male DNA. But this wouldn't be nothing but good news for Brendan Dassey. Zoner's 311 motion was an exhibit with aerial photos. Before and after the RAV was found, tire tracks were in the after pic and not in the before pic. That is interesting, Truth Monster. I'm going to have to take a look at that. The state will lose any evidence of anyone else being involved. There's nothing that ties BD. Right on, Travis. Let's see. No one involved in this did not know what they were doing. Mandy, I accept that you know, the officers involved in this may have had some inklings, but I would say that for the most part they would have been inclined to quash that and move forward. It hurts Zellner more than Steven if there isn't a civil suit. What is this? Cynthia's killer is found hung in a cell this week. Oh, the confessed killer? Yeah. What if? I just hope Manitowoc County doesn't investigate his confession. Wait, KZ has a photo with no rap. I don't know that he would be found dead, Travis, because I would think at this point they may see him as a ray of hope. Like, if they right now can manage to pin this on him, like you're saying, they escape the civil suit. This may become the better option for him. The damage control option. I don't know. Let's see. Simply because of a code of silence. Didn't they bring in a few officers who were retired? Yes, Michael Bushman, namely one that was part of the arrest party that arrested Stephen Avery in 1985. Yes, even him. That Manitowoc County sheriff was brought out of retirement to be there, but the one person at Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department that didn't have a conflict of interest because she wasn't involved with the 1985 case, she was the only one that was barred. But we can bring in retired and, you know, Manitowoc County sheriffs. We can open the floodgates for everybody else except for the one person that didn't have a conflict. Yeah. Netflix isn't paying Zellner. Can't watch the doc. You mean Making a Murderer, Mandy? Alright. Got about 5 to 8 more minutes. I know a lot of people that felt that way, Mandy. Particularly, they couldn't listen to the parts with Brendan. I remember a lot of ladies back in 2016 and 17 even that had great difficulty going back and watching Making a Murderer because when they got to the parts with Brendan, it would just shatter them, literally. And so, you know. Steven already collected on it. He settled it so he could get $400,000 to pay Dean and Jerry and to pay his post-conviction attorneys as well. You know, for you know all that. It's just nuts. Technically, they've already compensated him, and it's sad, but that's the way it is technically. You can't read his confession in Making a Murderer. Steven settled. What does that mean? You're exactly right. A bad investigation isn't enough to recover in civil suit. You have to show intentional and knowing bad acts. Hiding evidence, destroying, planting. You mean like with the bones, Trav? Right on. Steven didn't settle. He was forced in order to pay for legal representation. We all know how it's colored, and I agree with you, Mandy. But the way the courts are going to look at it is more black and white. Oh, no worries, Karen. What about the bullet with no dust on it? Yes, I agree. That bullet is just such a huge problem for me. It doesn't have dust on it. It's sitting on top of the dust. It's there's just so much wrong with it. So much wrong with it. And then you have the fact that it has bits of wood and paint and not bits of flesh and bone. And then you have all the monkey business that went on with the DNA testing of the damn thing. I mean, there is not one single aspect of that bullet that is without question. You know, anyways, yeah, that bullet's a mess. It's an absolute mess. That was post-trial. Okay. What about the CD then? Brady violation. What about that, Trav? How would that potentially play? Experiment time, yes. Why would Steven have a key in his bedroom if he wasn't involved? Had to be planted. Oh, that key is totally planted. I mean, now that's, speaking of experiments, I've actually done that. I've actually done that experiment. The killer isn't BD, I agree. No causation, I agree. No worries, Linda. They cornered Steven, so he had no place to move but to prison. Yeah. So, yeah. Did we lose Mark? Oh, well. Alright, well, it's about that time, I think. Yeah, we can go for a couple more minutes if anybody's got something else. But, yeah, I mean, this could be interesting. But keep in mind things like what Travis is saying, you know. If this does end up panning out and he takes credit for all planting and making the evidence point at Steven, that could take out Steven's civil case for a wrongful conviction. So, you know, but ultimately justice is what we're after. I don't want to see Zellner lose all the money she's invested to get Steven out. But ultimately, if this guy is telling the truth and he actually did it, then justice needs to be done no matter what. So, they did not name the inmate. They will not name the inmate. They basically said the reasoning for that is that the law enforcement agency, which I believe is going to be DOJ, the Wisconsin DOJ, has to investigate it, and they have to basically decide to release the name. So the investigating agency makes the decision of when the inmate's name can be released. Oh, did you answer my question, Travis, about whether if it was a the Brady violation, that wouldn't have been post-trial. Would that, if they're successful on that, would that entitle Steven to his, to having a better shot with his civil rights lawsuit? Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, everybody. Kathleen's investigator be able to be involved to make sure no shit. So the Brady violation is a no. That's even though that's at trial. That's a no. Okay. I don't know. I don't understand all this. This is very strange to me. When did they have to do it for it to matter? Just curious. I mean, actually, that's actually pre-trial. actually. If we think about it. The withholding of the evidence and the Brady violation, that's all pre-trial. Okay. All right, fair enough. Okay, so it would have to tie in with the confessed killer. Okay. In other words, the state would have to be in cahoots with him. Okay, got it. All right. All right, fair enough. Question answered. I can enjoy some right now. Anyways. So it will still be a one-sided investigation and they will be able to make up another fake story. Maybe. Find me 12 jurors who wouldn't award him money. Yeah, well, it's not about that. It's about the judges letting it get to that point. All right. Hit that like button, folks. Thanks for being here. Hope we helped everybody understand this a little more. For those of you who hadn't read the article and you're just hearing about it from me, well, hope we've filled you in on this. It's an interesting development, but look, everybody, one last time, don't get too excited. Throttle a little bit back on the excitement, and let's see what happens a little bit. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. We'll see you.